Hello? Did you hear that? Hold up. You hear that? Whoa. Hey, dude, what is that? Whoa!
Strange creatures,
Oh, holy!
shadowy figures, and demonic faces. A lot stays hidden in the dark corners and empty spaces.
What the is that?
Whoa, wait, no way.
From giant beings to sneaky stalkers.
Tapping on the window there. What the hell is going on?
Let's take a look at some of the footage that will leave you questioning the world you live in. In the mountains of Brazil, a group of hikers captured something incredible on their phones. Standing on the hilltop, massive figures were standing, each at least 10 feet tall. They weren't like humans, they were aliens. As the hikers watched in shock, one of these beings started moving down the slope. Local villagers have been reporting strange lights in these hills for years. Some believe there's a hidden UFO base somewhere in these mountains. That footage circulated online, and people think it's proof that we might not be alone on this planet. Rooftop horror. When strange noises woke a homeowner at midnight, he decided to check his roof. Shining his flashlight up there, he was shocked. Two bright white eyes stared back at him, floating in the darkness. In a blink, they vanished.
Holy alright, son of a bitch is one on the other side of the house.
The homeowner walked around to the other side of the house, only to discover something worse. A bunch of bones that looked like the remains of some creature's midnight feast. The guy thought it was the roof-dwelling demons that hunt at night, leaving behind signs of their presence. After this nighttime encounter, he hasn't felt any disturbances again. Into the woods. Back in 1991, someone took a video in Washington state that changed everything. On top of a hill stood a monster we now call Siren Head. Its dark body was seen standing near the trees. The strange part? The person filming didn't even notice it standing there at the moment. He only found it while reviewing the footage. Many wonder how they missed seeing such a massive creature. But if this truly was the first Siren Head sighting, it means these creatures have been watching us for over 30 years. Hollow entity. While reviewing his trail camera footage, a hunter discovered a heart-stopping sight. The video showed a pale humanoid figure that was beyond explanation. The most terrifying detail was its face. Where eyes should have been, there was only darkness. Empty, hollow sockets stared back through the camera lens. Though it had a human-like shape, everyone who saw the footage agreed. This was no person. Some say it could be a ghostly entity, while others believe it might be someone possessed by supernatural forces, or a jinn. The hollow-eyed being's true nature remains a mystery. Field creature. Driving down a country road, a farmer noticed an unusual being that suddenly appeared in front of his car. A tall, impossibly thin figure stood in the middle of his path. He stopped the car on the other side. The rearview mirror showed what he feared: a dark figure standing behind his truck. There have been a lot of ancient stories about the Slender Man, a creature that roams empty fields. The guy managed to escape safely and decided to never drive down that road. Some say you can still see that tall, shadowy figure moving through the fields. Window Wanderer. Late one night, a guy spotted an eerie figure in the old abandoned house toward his front. A ghostly shape appeared in a second-floor window, just standing there. Before anyone could blink, it vanished, only to show up in a first-floor window seconds later. Then it moved again, jumping from window to window, all the way down to the ground floor.
Bottom window? What the hell is going on?
It was like some kind of creepy game of hide and seek. Locals thought it might be a restless spirit, and they haunt abandoned places, showing themselves to let people know they haven't left. That house still stands empty, but sometimes the lights flicker on by themselves. Monstrous discovery. Ghost experts decided to explore an old building. They had seen many haunted places before, but nothing prepared them for this. As they approached the building with their equipment, they were shocked. There, on the rooftop, was a creature that came straight out of their nightmare. It wasn't a ghost. It looked similar to the rake. It had the most scary eyes, huge glowing orbs that pierced through the darkness. The creature's skin looked pale. The guys who came looking for spirits found a different kind of horror that night and thought they had encountered something out of this world. Snow ghost.
Whoa, wait, no way.
A hiker spotted a scary figure in the snowy wilderness at night. The pale shape looked like a human, but wasn't. Its body was tall, with one arm raised up in the air.
I could have sworn I saw the arm go up.
It seemed to be a ghost, calling the hiker to come closer. Local stories warn about these spooky beings. Never go near them when they call. If you see one, run away as fast as you can. People say these creatures try to lure humans to take their souls. The hiker should not wait to find out what it wanted. The pale figure stayed there, arms still raised, waiting for its next victim. Empty house. Late at night, friends were walking past a house when they saw a ghost. The house looked normal, but no one had lived there for days. People say empty houses attract spirits. Through the top window, they saw a dark entity moving. It floated down and disappeared from view. They grabbed their phones to record such a spooky sight. Posting the video online, they now waited for people to identify what it was. So, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Unseen watcher. In a local's backyard, a security camera recorded this late one night. A pale figure appeared, moving slowly and unnaturally. It didn't belong in this world. The creature looked demonic. And strangely, this wasn't the first time it had been seen.
35 feet away, and it came out of those weeds. You know what I'm talking about?
The homeowner had set up the camera after noticing strange visits. He even spoke to the figure, telling it to leave the yard and the house. The figure seemed aware, its gaze fixed, as if listening to his words. We hope it didn't stay after that, but who knows? It might still be out there, watching.
This thing is looking weird. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Window watcher. An abandoned house held a terrifying secret, and a resident passing by was about to uncover it. In the upper window, a dark, ghostly being appeared, watching the street below. The old house was decaying and had been empty of any living residents for a long time. Now, it seemed to have a new occupant, but this one didn't seem human. The dark figure seemed aware it was being watched, turning its attention directly to the person recording. It's safe to say the witness hasn't walked by that house again since then. Door visitor. A man was alone in his house when he heard a knock-knock. Someone was at his door. He walked over and peeked through the window. Want to know who was his guest? A girl in black and white clothes stood there. Not moving at all. Her face looked ghostly. She didn't blink. She didn't move. She just stood there. She might be a zombie or some witch. The man grabbed his phone and captured her. His family needed to see this was real. From that day on, he never stayed home alone again. After all, who knows when that ghostly girl might come knocking again? Road monster. Some friends were driving on an empty road at night. Their headlights were the only light around. Suddenly, they had to slam the brakes. Right in the middle of the road was a dark figure. It crawled on all fours, wearing black clothes. But its face looked a bit red. Then things got worse. The creature might be some skinwalker who stood up on two legs and rushed to their car. They didn't wait to see more. Hitting the gas pedal hard, they decided to speed away into the night, leaving the skinwalker behind. No one drives that road at night anymore. Skyrun. On October 1st, 2024, the skies above Tel Aviv showed a sight that was beyond explanation. A local filmed a dark shape moving faster than any aircraft could fly. Moving with speed through the clouds, it seemed to be on a mission. There have been legends of beings that live above the clouds, watching our world below. Some call them devils, others say there's something even older. The footage showed this thing zooming and then vanishing in air. Weather experts say it wasn't a cloud or bird. The person who filmed it claims his phone stopped working for days after. Even now, people in Tel Aviv look up more often, wondering what else might be watching from above. Roadside terror. In the countryside, a local was walking home when something caught his eye. Under the dim pole light ahead, a figure sat motionless. At first, he thought it was just someone resting, but something felt wrong. The creature looked humanoid and seemed like some ghost or jinn. In many cultures, they say jinns prefer lonely places, especially at night. They take different forms to confuse humans. Some believe they guard ancient paths, testing travelers who pass by. The locals didn't stay to find out more. He turned and ran. That pole light is now dark, and nobody stops there anymore. Woods terror. A group of friends decided to explore the outskirts of Browning, Montana one weekend. The woods seemed peaceful at first, when suddenly they saw a figure emerge, crawling on all fours like some kind of twisted human.
How you doing? Oh.
Its movements were unnatural and jerky, as if something was controlling it like a puppet. Locals thought this was a dark spirit that can take over lost hikers in these woods. The friends didn't wait to find out more. They ran back.
It's crawling at me like a goddamn... What's up, dude?
Those who live near Browning say sometimes they hear that thing crawling, searching for new victims. Woman at midnight. A local man walking home after a late shift noticed a woman standing under a streetlight. Nothing unusual about that, right? But something felt off. As he got closer, his steps slowed down. Her smile was too wide, stretching unnaturally across her ghostly white face. Her eyes, they weren't normal eyes at all, just dark, empty spaces that seemed to stare right through him. She could be one of the shapeshifters who had taken the form of a beautiful woman to attract people at night. The man turned around and kept going, never once looking back. Night Runner. In Reynosa, Mexico, a security camera caught something that'll make your skin crawl. At first, the footage showed just the outside view at midnight. Then suddenly, a dark figure appeared there, but it didn't look like a normal person. Its movements were almost animal-like. The locals whispered about the Nahual, ancient shapeshifters who can turn from human to beast. The security guard who found this footage quit his job the next day. Some say he saw something even stranger that night that wasn't caught on camera. Mirror room. A young dancer was practicing alone in her studio, the mirror wall reflecting the empty room behind her. As she turned towards the mirror, something caught her eye. There, in the mirror's reflection, a dark shadow stood watching. But when she turned around, nothing was there. People who watched the clip thought mirrors were doorways for spirits, especially in places like dance studios. They say entities are drawn to the energy of performers. The girl left the room. Now everyone at the studio follows one rule: never look too long in the mirrors. Lizard encounter. Late at night, on an abandoned road, something terrifying happened. A girl was suddenly knocked down by a creature that looked like a giant lizard walking on two legs. When nearby people rushed to help with their lights, they caught a glimpse of it. The monster backed away from the lights, but not before everyone saw its strange shape. It looked just like the lizard man from Scary Stories. We can only hope that girl remained safe. That road is now famous for a different reason. Everyone knows about the night the lizard man appeared. Strange field light. Walking through his fields one morning, a villager stopped in his tracks. In the middle of the field, a mysterious yellow light glowed like fire. But it wasn't burning anything. The strange part? It only appeared in that one small area. Before he could get closer, the light suddenly vanished, leaving behind smoke rising from the ground. In many cultures, they say underground spirits send signals through lights like these. Some believe these lights mark spots where ancient treasures lie buried, guarded by mysterious forces. Headless visitor. One day, a home security camera recorded something unbelievable. A figure appeared on the screen, walking just outside the house as if taking a calm stroll. But it had no head. Just as a car drove by, the figure vanished into the air. Although no one has been able to confirm what it was, people think it could be a mythical creature. According to legends, these headless spirits are often said to be souls who lost their lives unfairly, wandering endlessly. Roadside welcome. A family was driving home down a dark road when their headlights caught a terrifying scene. Standing right in their path were several figures. They wore long gowns like nuns, but not the normal black ones, all donning orange long gowns. What made the family's heart stop was their faces, covered in ghostly white masks, staring at the car. These beings stood there as if waiting to welcome the passing vehicle.
Passa, Thiago, passa, véi. Passa, véi, acelera.
They looked like the demon-possessed nuns who wander remote roads at night. The family sped past, not daring to slow down. Night truck visitor. A guy sitting in the back seat of a car parked in a dark spot noticed this. He sat there, and a spooky presence made him glance at his side mirror. Below it, something quickly peeked up and vanished. The driver held his breath. Then it happened. Two bright green eyes appeared, glowing like a ghostly owl's. But these weren't normal owl eyes. They seemed to stare right into his soul. The creature disappeared after a while, leaving the guy to speculate what he had seen. Some people thought this could be an animal, while others had ideas about something far more sinister. But I'll let you be the judge of that. Cabinet ghost. A homeowner noticed something odd in his cupboard glass. Let's have a look! It was a woman's face staring back at him. It wasn't a reflection. The face seemed trapped inside the glass itself, like a soul caught between worlds. It looked like old furniture could become doorways for spirits, especially antique pieces with history. When he opened the cupboard doors, he found only normal things inside. Netizens thought it might be a real spirit. Skeptics, however, thought this must be just him experiencing pareidolia, a phenomenon that causes people to see patterns or meanings in random things. Parking lot terror. Nobody could believe what they saw in the parking lot that morning. A whole row of cars had their roofs ripped upward, as if something incredibly strong had torn them apart. Every single mirror was shattered too. But here's the weird part. It happened to all the cars in the exact same spot, as if following a pattern. It might have been done by supernatural beings with incredible strength, like jinns who can bend metal like paper. Others believe it could be the work of a giant creature. Now everyone avoids parking there. Whatever did this wasn't human, and chances are it might come back. Hospital ghost. Some brave explorers went into an old hospital building, but they weren't prepared for what they found. Their camera captured a black figure suddenly appearing on a wall. It was hovering briefly before vanishing into the air. The mysterious entity moved like smoke, but had a distinctly human shape. In places like this, many lives have come and gone. Some say spirits stay behind and make these empty halls their forever home. Was it a ghost, a djinn, or perhaps a lost soul still wandering the hospital corridors. The footage left even skeptics questioning what happens after we're gone. Forest monster. In a forest, a hunter recorded a frightening scene. Among the fallen leaves, a creature crawled through the forest. But this was no ordinary animal. Its body was covered in thick fur like a bear, yet its head was something else entirely. It seemed goat-like with twisted horns on its skull. The hunter stayed hidden behind a tree, filming this impossible beast. Suddenly, the creature vanished into the shadows. As the hunter searched the darkness, his heart stopped. The monster now stood directly in front of him, rising to its full height. As the guy escaped, he reconsidered everything he thought he knew about the creatures in the forest. Nightcrawler. A hunter's camera caught a scary creature in the woods at night. It creepily crawled between trees. It had deep, dark holes for eyes, and a mouth full of sharp teeth. Its body looked human-like, with long arms and legs. It was the rake, if that creature is truly real. According to mythical tales, rakes hide in woods and come out at night to hunt. They move fast and make weird noises. The hunter later shared his footage and left many people scared. And now, people avoid these woods at night. Beast in the woods. A family saw a scary view during their hike in the woods. Behind the trees, a creature was trying to hide. The family thought it was a Bigfoot or Sasquatch. It stood still there, not moving. These beasts are known to live deep in forests, away from humans. They could see its big shoulders and long arms. The family decided to leave quickly, but their story made others wonder what else could be living in these woods. Tree stalker. Let me tell you about a scary night in the forest. A hiker felt uneasy when he thought he saw a head peek from behind a tree. It disappeared so fast he wondered if his eyes were playing tricks. Fear kept him in his place. When he finally turned around, his heart nearly stopped. There it was, a pale brown creature standing behind another tree. Its face had no eyes. It looked like the skinwalkers from old stories. The hiker ran faster than he ever had before, and never went back to those woods again. Utah giant. A farmer in Utah caught the most incredible footage of his life. He filmed a massive Bigfoot walking between the trees. It was huge, way bigger than any person. It moved easily through the woods. Its arms were moving by its sides. You could see how muscular it was, even from far away. The farmer stayed quiet, trying not to scare it. That's when the footage ended, leaving everyone scared and confused. Fear on all fours. Watch what this resident caught outside his house. In the darkness, he noticed a strange movement. Then it appeared, a pale figure crawling on all fours. Stories warn about skinwalkers, shape-shifting creatures that can look human but aren't. From that day, people in that neighborhood started locking their doors earlier. Some say on nights, they can still hear strange sounds outside their homes. Shadow visitor. In Romania, a family installed a security camera on their porch. They wanted to keep their new car safe at night. Little did they know what they would discover. At night, the camera recorded a chilling sight. Behind their parked car, a strange figure emerged from the darkness. The being looked skeletal and thin. As it crept closer to the car, it stretched out its hands, dragging them across the vehicle's surface. Was it a skinwalker? An alien? The footage has left viewers debating what kind of creature would creep into the dark, marking its territory in such a haunting way. Midnight visitor. A doorbell camera recorded an entity that's keeping people awake at night. Standing in front of the door was a clown. Not a regular party clown. This one was different. The figure was holding balloons, staring directly into the camera without moving. Its face paint created an unsettling smile that no one should ever see at that hour. This recording teaches one thing: never answer your door when the bell rings at night. You never know what kind of visitor might be waiting. Forest encounter. In Canada, a hunter captured an encounter that changed many people's beliefs. The footage showed a strange head emerging from an old steel container. The head was gray and resembled an alien. The video went viral years ago, but recent analysis has brought new attention to it. Experts think aliens might not arrive in giant spaceships. Instead, they could be hiding in plain sight and living among us. Shadowed Watcher. A security camera recorded a chilling sight. Behind a tree, partially hidden by leaves, there was a humanoid figure hiding. The footage revealed what experts believe to be a mysterious cryptid known to lurk in the shadows. These slimy-looking creatures aren't just myths. They have been spotted in Asian mountains and across many countries. Living underground for generations, they adapted to the darkness, developing pale skin and light sensitivity. Who knows what else lies in the dark corners? Rake family. What if you captured something in the woods that you couldn't explain? A hunter's camera recorded this terrifying footage in the woods. The video began with a bizarre creature suddenly appearing in the frame. Its body was in an unnatural pose, and it had huge glowing eyes. One ran across the frame, then another, and when he panned his camera forward, there was a whole group of them standing right in front of him. The guy just thought to save his life and ran away. Silent ritual. A guy found something strange when he was walking down his usual route home. He stopped in his tracks. There, in the middle of a street, stood multiple figures dressed in bright red robes. Each one held a burning candle, creating an eerie glow in the darkness. They were standing completely still. These weren't normal church people. Something felt very wrong. He quickly took out his phone and recorded what he saw. Many who watched the video later said this looked like a secret cult performing a dark ritual. In our town, right under our noses. Who knows what other secrets are hiding in the shadows? Distorted reality. Something terrifying was captured on this indoor security camera. A woman worked in the kitchen. Nothing unusual about that, right? But her son noticed something wasn't right when he checked the footage later. As he watched, his mother changed. Her arms grew longer and longer until they nearly touched the floor. But that wasn't the worst part. Her face transformed into something that wasn't human anymore. His mother had no memory of this happening. Was she possessed by some demonic entity? Or maybe a shapeshifter took her form? Hidden magic. One day in the park, a visitor discovered something magical. Walking past an ancient oak tree, he noticed a strange hole in its bark. But what they saw inside made him stop in amazement. There, standing in the hollow, was a tiny creature.
Nah, come back out. Look, why are you speaking like that?
Just like the fairy tales describe. It had a small body exactly like a pixie from storybooks. The visitor managed to record this extraordinary moment. The tiny being looked right at them, curious but unafraid. Then, as quickly as it appeared, it went into the darkness of the tree hollow. People always thought fairies were just stories for children. Now we know better. Next time you pass an old tree, look carefully. You might find magic hiding inside. Jersey Mystery. What happened during this game will leave you speechless. Fans had been watching the match as usual when something impossible caught their attention. The player's jersey, number 18, suddenly changed to 21. Confusion spread quickly through the crowd. The cameras clearly captured the moment, showing the number switching back and forth throughout the game. It reminded many of the magical cloak from Harry Potter, with the jersey seemingly having a mind of its own. The team is still trying to figure out what went wrong that day. Some even wonder if the stadium is haunted, causing things to change on their own. Forest entity. In the woods, a hiker's peaceful night walk turned into a nightmare. While following the trail with his flashlight, something caught his eye. Behind a tree, two white glowing dots stared back at him. But those weren't fireflies. They were eyes. As the hiker's light hit the spot, he saw it. A tall creature with sharp, bright white teeth was looking at him. Its body seemed to blend with the tree bark. Was this the legendary rake creature people whisper about, or had he just met a Sasquatch face to face? What do you think? Let me know. Skyfire. At a hill, locals gathered to witness an unexplainable sight. A massive red ball, glowing like pure fire, was seen on the hilltop. Without warning, it went high into the sky, and then fell back to Earth. As it touched the ground, smaller red orbs scattered there. This strange dance continued, rising, falling, leaving trails of glowing spheres. People tried running after it, hoping to catch or touch these mysterious lights, but the fiery ball stayed just out of reach. Many believe it was black magic at work, while others say beings from another world sent these signs. The mystery of the dancing fireball remains unsolved to this day. Night Hunter. The viral video came from a channel filmed in darkness at a remote location. Through tall grass and thick bushes in some fields, the camera revealed a sight straight out of a horror movie. It showed a pale figure crawling creepily between the bushes. At first, it seemed unaware of being filmed. Then suddenly, it turned and came straight at the person recording. The camera shook violently as the person ran for safety. The footage ended there, leaving everyone wondering, was this the legendary Dogman, or perhaps a Sasquatch caught on film? Elf threat. The police officers were doing their night patrol. They pulled over near Highway Mark 12 to check a suspicious car.
On the flight check, will it be?
Let me get the menu up on this.
One officer walked up to talk to the driver. Then it happened. A powerful force pulled the officer right into the car. His partner kept calling his name, getting worried when there was no answer. The second officer ran to help. He opened the car's trunk, and right then, a tiny creature, looking like an elf with a pointy hat, jumped out. More pointy hats were easily visible from inside the police car. That night, both officers learned that such creatures aren't as friendly as they look. Trail run. A student decided to take a shortcut through the woods, filming his walk on his phone. Everything seemed normal until he heard fast footsteps behind him. A creature with black eyes was chasing him with unnatural speed. This was a skinwalker, a creature feared by many in these woods. The boy, who was going back home, was now running as fast as he could, still holding his camera. These woods belong to the skinwalker, and he had unknowingly stepped into its territory. We can only hope he made it back home safely from those woods. Superpowers. The city was busy with people walking around at night. A local was taking videos of the nightlife when everyone stopped and stared. There, in the crowd, stood a young boy. But this was no normal kid. Bright blue light glowed from his hands. Just like superheroes from movies, this was happening right here, on our streets. The boy noticed people watching him. Within seconds, he turned and ran. The person with the camera tried to follow, but the boy vanished. That night, everyone learned superheroes might be real after all. And now, let's move on to our subscribers' pick. A group of hikers captured more than just the beauty of nature. They recorded something truly terrifying. Standing under the sky, a creature towered above the mountains. Not human, not animal, but an entirely different entity. Its head looked similar to old sirens. According to forest rangers' records, these sirens always signal the presence of trouble. They say siren head hunts by mimicking familiar sounds, drawing prey closer. So next time when you are in the mountains, be careful of these siren heads. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.